Today I'm going to be working on this Stealth Ducky keyboard. This is, well, it's just a keyboard. Not really much to say about this other than the fact that the USB-C charging port has been snapped off and it is in need of a little bit of TLC. So there's a USB port in this bag. And what I can see on the USB port are a few missing traces. So it looks like around about 6 or so missing traces. They are stuck to the USB port at the minute. The port itself, I haven't looked at it under the microscope, but it does look okay. So it looks like we can reuse this. But basically, the customer got in touch and said that he'd damaged the USB port on his kid's, or his kid had damaged it on the keyboard and needed repairing. It's cheaper than buying a new one, so he sent it to me for repair. So with that being said, my name's Hakko, I'm an electronics technician. I mainly work on games consoles, but I do work on other stuff as well, as you can see. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications, and that way you won't miss any future videos. If you need to organise a repair, get in touch at thecoder.repair, and if you need parts and supplies to assist in your repair, you can buy those on my online store at consolefix.shop. All of the links in the video description. But with that being said, let's get into today's repair. Today's video is sponsored by PCBWay. Whether you've got a simple project that requires a quick mod board, or you want to launch your own products to the world, PCBWay can help. With fantastic pricing on multi-layer PCBs, flex ribbons, 3D printing and even laser cutting solutions, you're sure to find everything you'll need all in one place. Custom PCBs start from just $5 for a 1 to 2 layer board with a fast 24-hour build time and free shipping on orders over $30. PCBWay also offer aluminium PCBs starting at just $120 per square meter. Check out what PCBWay have to offer by clicking on the top link in the video description or in the top pinned comment and get your project started today. Thanks again to PCBWay for sponsoring the channel. Now let's get back to the video. So first and foremost, I'm going to have a look at this USB port and just make sure I can actually reuse this, because if not, then I'm going to have to put the video on pause and order a new USB port. So let's have a look under the microscope first and see what the situation is with this, and then I'll get to getting this apart and stuff and working on the keyboard itself. Okay, so from what I can see here, the USB port, although it is very slightly split on the bottom there, that's not really in a condition where we're going to need to replace it. What we can do, because the problem is this customer's child wants this back ASAP, so I've said I'll see what I can do with the existing port. But basically the USB port itself, what we can do is we can bend that back into place, because it's only very slightly misaligned, and then pop a bit of solder on the bottom just to reinforce it so as it doesn't split apart again, and we shouldn't have any connection issues or anything with it after that then. So yeah, it's not damaged in terms of, you know, the actual port itself. It's just the outer frame is very slightly damaged, so we should be able to reuse that. And you know, if it does cause connection issues, I could give it back to the customer now and just say bring it back when the new port arrives, and I'll do it again for free basically. But for now, we're going to use this as a temporary measure just to at least get it at a point where it's usable. Yeah, that's not really bent out of shape, I don't think, so we shouldn't really have too many issues with it. I would say it's going to be absolutely fine. So let's just have a look here. So it needs to come that way slightly. It's not easy to get this to clip back in. Alright, let's just balance it on the table. So let's bring my microscope down a bit. To be honest, I think that's probably close enough. Ah, that's better. It's press down on it. Oh, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, it's as perfect as we're going to get. Alright. So, here's what we can do. So we just get that in focus there. I'm going to add a little bit of solder just to the top of it. I do need to clean up these pins anyway. But I'm going to add a little bit of solder to the top of it just to reinforce this port. I know this isn't really, you know, classed as a proper, you know, repair in terms of we should really be replacing this port, and I do recommend replacing the port whenever possible. But this is a temporary solution. I'm going to have to find a port to replace it with, because I wouldn't be happy leaving it in this condition. But that being said, we can do that, and then I'll just reinforce it. Get rid of these broken traces. So I'll just slide the iron across the pins just to help get rid of them. Okay, those pins are joined together anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that. Same as these other end two as well, they're joined together. There we are. Okay, so that's as good as. It's as good as we're going to get. So while I'm working on the actual keyboard itself, I'm going to just keep this soaked in some isopropyl alcohol just to get rid of any flux that might be inside it and stuff. It's not going to, you know, clear it all up, but it'll at least keep it at a point where I can clean it properly in a minute. So I'm just going to drop this inside here. And I'm just going to fill this with some IPA. There we are. I'm going to leave that in there for, you know, 10 minutes or so while I'm taking the keyboard apart. Alright, so there's my USB port. It's prepped. I'll just pop that off to one side. And now I've got to figure out how to get into this keyboard. Just check, see if there's anything under the feet. I don't think there's any screws under the feet. I think they're all inside the keys themselves. Or underneath the keys themselves. Yeah, no screw under there. I can't feel a screw under there. No, no screws under the feet. They're all going to be underneath all of the keys. That's annoying. Okay, there we go. So there's all of the keys removed. That was a bit, well, time consuming, but never mind, it's fine. So yeah, I've removed all the keys. I need to remove these screws from around here just so I can take the thing apart. So I'll do that next. There we go. I'm assuming that this is going to pop up this way. Yeah. Alright, good. Awesome. And then where's the USB port meant to be? There. Okay, right. So, USB port is meant to be here. We do have a problem though. And that problem is I'm going to have to do this without removing this, because there is no way on earth I am desoldering all of these points. Not a chance. So I'm going to do this without doing that. So let's pop under the scope. Okay, so here's where the USB port is meant to sit. So what I'm going to have to do then is I'm going to have to desolder the ground pads. So basically just wick away the solder from inside the ground pads here. I'm going to have to clean up these traces and resolder the traces, or rather run jumper wires to each of the traces and then drop the port in. So I'll do that next. So I'm going to add some leaded solder. There we are. Let's grab a solder sucker. I'm going to heat this up to flow it through. No, I'm going to have to wick this away, I think. Don't think the solder sucker is going to cut it. So let's just take some solder braid. I mean, it's looking like the solder braid is not going to cut it either. Okay, that one has. And that one has, good. Okay, so those two are clear. Okay, so if you do struggle, it might seem counterproductive, but if you add some solder to it, and then wick it away again, right, okay, doesn't seem to want to go. That's just really not having it, is it? Has that got it? Tiny bit of hot air. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay, awesome. Right, so that's that done. Finally. Just going to do a little bit of clean up here with some IPA. So a little bit of 99.9%. Okay, there's a very slight bit of damage to that LED. Just the one of them. Hopefully it hasn't completely damaged it. Let's just check. So an LED is just a diode. So I'm going to go diode mode on the multimeter. Okay, that doesn't seem to be lighting up. Maybe I need more power. I'm applying 2 volts to it with diode mode, but it's not lighting up, so let's try 3 volts. I don't actually know what the rating is, so let's just have a look. Yeah, red, green and blue works. Green works, red works, blue works. Alright, that's it, that's fine. So yeah, those 2 LEDs are absolutely fine, no problems with that. Let's just carry on then. So I'm going to need to take my grinding pen and just expose some of these traces. Okay. Okay, so it looks like this pin here, sorry, I'm pointing to it with a brush. So it looks like this pin here goes around there to that one there. This one here. Okay, I'm going to need to go further down than that because the mask has stopped it from grinding. So I've gone a little bit further down there. Okay, let's continue, shall we? So let's just tin these exposed traces. So that one there, that one, that one. Let's tin those as well. Okay, good. And now let's start with some jumper wire. So I'm going to pre-tin a bunch of this wire. So this is enamel wire, so we have to tin it first and get rid of that coating. Okay, I'm just going to clean this up so I can see. Alright. I'm trying to get this to position properly because I'm going to need the port to be able to sit down. Dang it. Ah. No, lost that one. Alright. So, does this go to that resistor? Because it would be a lot easier. Yes, it does. Yeah, it goes to that resistor by the look of it. Okay. Be a lot easier to do it to the resistor. I believe all three of these are connected together. Though I could be wrong. Alright, so I've got one more to do, then I'll just need to do a bit of routing. Okay. Right. So let me just route this one. Okay, it's a bit short. I need to move it. Okay, there we go. That is that done. So now it's just time to protect all of this. So use some Relife UVH902. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Honestly, highly recommend it. And not just because I sell it, although I do sell it, but this stuff cures in about 3 seconds flat with a UV light. And that is not an exaggeration. So I'm going to put a nice healthy dose on there. So unlike the mechanic stuff that I used to use, this stuff will cure in a few seconds regardless of how much I put on it, and it cures as hard as a rock as well. So I'm going to secure the top of that one, and I'm going to secure the bottom of all of them. And I've just realised I've missed one, damn it. I've missed a trace, haven't I? So I've just wasted all of that there. never mind, it's fine. Or is that all joined together? Let's have a look on the port. It's not connected together. I can't see a trace. It must be a no connect, because I cannot see a trace on that at all. Yeah, that has to be a no connect. I can't see a trace there, so I'm going to ignore it. Alright, nice healthy dose of coating. I'm going to take my UV light and ready. 1, 2, 3. That's real time. Solid. Not solid, but cured. Give it a couple more seconds, it will be absolutely rock solid. That's real time, by the way, I'm not speeding that up. Absolutely solid look. And those traces are going nowhere. Awesome. Good stuff. Finish straightening that one out. There we are. And like I said, this one here, next to the one I'm doing here, next to the one I'm positioning, I can't see a trace at all. So I've got a feeling it's a no connect, so I'm not going to bother worrying about that. Let's just pop in the port here. I just need to anchor this down first of all. So I'll just get that fixed in place. And then we're just going to make sure that we solder all of the pins. I'll sort that bridge out in a second. So I'm just using the drag method to make sure we've got enough solder on each pad. And also to clear any bridges. And that should be good there. So now I just need to anchor this down. Just going to give it a good few seconds just to push the solder down. Okay, let's clean up. Make sure we don't leave any flux around here at all. And also clean inside this port. I'm going to make sure we get in there with the brush nice and deep. That's what she said. Okay, hopefully that's good to go. We shall see. So let's have a look then and just see what happens with the charger. Does it light up? Does it go bang? Okay, it's lighting up. There we go. It is appearing to at least supply power. We're getting 100 milliamps of current draw at 5 volts. So I'm assuming that is working. And I'm assuming that this is fixed. But we can never make assumptions. We need to test it. Unfortunately, the USB cable I've got in front of me, this one just here, is connected to my external drive. And I'm backing up my SSD from my laptop, ready to transfer over to a bigger SSD because I'm running out of space. So I'm cloning my drive, so I can't use that USB, so I'll have to find another cable and plug it in somewhere else. But I'm going to put it back together at least anyway, or at least screw it down. I'm not putting all those keys back in. You got no chance of that happening. Not until I know for sure that it's working. But I will secure it. Okay, there we go. That's good to go. And yeah, we're good to test. Okay, so I've got a USB cable plugged into the PC then. It took me a while to find a cable that would reach. Setting up device. That seems to be working. There we go. Ducky 1.2 mini RGB is set up and ready to go. Seems to be working. Okay, so you'll have to excuse the flickering. The camera's set up to a different frequency to what these LEDs are. So yeah, that all seems to be working. So I'm going to put this fully back together and then I'll run a full keyboard test on it. So this might take me a little while. I'll fast forward through it. Make sure they're all pressed down and good to go. That is fully back together, and we have the charging port perfectly aligned as well. Beautiful. It seems to be working. Yep, okay, that seems to be working absolutely fine. So yeah, as I said, this job is now done. If the customer does have any issues with it, like I said, they can bring the charger port, bring it back to me, and I'll obviously, you know, sort it all out. But yeah, I'm assuming. I don't know if this. I don't remember. Don't remember if this has got a battery in it. I didn't see. I think it has, but it probably just needs a really good charge. So yeah, that's going to be for now. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. I'll always do my best to answer. I do read all comments, I just don't always get to reply to them. So yeah, feel free to leave me a comment. If you need to organise a repair, get in touch at thecoder.repair. And if you need parts and supplies for your repair, you can buy those on my online store at consolefix.shop. As I said, all links are in the video description, as well as links to all of the tools and stuff that I use. And I do get commission if you use any of those links. They're not sponsored links, but they are affiliate links. So I do get a little bit of a kickback, and it does help support the channel. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.